Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining today's webinar for Embedder app for Confluence. I'm Anu, Customer Success Manager at Amoeboids Technology, and today I'll be guiding you on our app Embedder for Confluence and how it can help you to manage um, and showcase your product documentation, product knowledge base right within the app itself. So let's dive into the agenda for today's session. So we will be first talking about some common challenges with help documentations that your users might face, or as a company you also might face in terms of showcasing your product documentation or the knowledge bases for your users, how to bridge this gap between the Confluence and the in-app support, why it matters, why the real-time content matters for users and the app developers themselves, a quick introduction to our embedded for Confluence app. Then we will do a quick live demo. We'll also look at some real-world use cases, and then at the end we will do a live Q&A session where if you have any questions you can simply ask those questions. So let's dive in with the first topic. So the common challenges with help documentations that generally users face are that they're using your application, your app, within a separate browser or the window, and when they want to look at your product documentation, different knowledge bases, they have to switch to some other platform altogether. They don't find that information right within the app, because of which they might lose the context, they might lose the interest in the documentation, and it might take longer for them to figure out things on their own by using exploring app in different way rather than having a quick look at documentation, ready documentation that might guide them faster, right? So that is one common challenge that we came across when we talk about embedder app for Confluence with our existing customers. Then the documentations are often outdated, which builds a frustration for the users, because when they look at your app's UI or the features and navigations, they find something different than what is available within the app, because certainly that is outdated. Because of this, users might lose the interest within your app, they might lose the trust within app, and that is again can impact on the customers and apparently the usage of your app, right? And then support teams are flooded with the repetitive tickets. If they don't find the answers to their questions within the help documentation, within the knowledge bases that you have provided, they are going to raise the support tickets, and then all the users would keep asking the same questions, which will flood your support desk, and it will be an unnecessary burden for your teams, right? So these are some common challenges that we hear from our prospects and the customers. Now, how to bridge this gap between Confluence versus in-app support? Yes, Confluence is definitely a fantastic platform which helps to keep everything centralized, structured, collaborative for your teams, for your internal and external stakeholders. But yeah, the end user reality is that they need answers instantly within the app without switching the platform, without going into the different pages, windows, browsers, etc., right? So that's where we have to bridge the gap between the Confluence and the help documentation that people expect to be within the app now. And it's also important that people get the real-time content, because if there is a real-time content provided to your users, it impacts positively on your onboarding. People are able to utilize your app better by reading those in-app documentations, quick documentations within the app itself, and they learn about your app they can explore your app faster, and then that converts the faster onboarding. If people are finding the right answers right within the knowledge bases, help documentations, they won't go and create support tickets. So it again reduces the extra burden that you might get because of that gap on your support tickets. And then your documentation always remain, so your up to date documentation will be available right within the app for the users. Right now, um to whatever common challenges we have discussed, or whatever part you have discussed so far, to find a solution to those problem statements, here we introduce Embedder for Confluence, our Confluence app, for embedding your help documentations right within the app. So how exactly it's going to help? You just have to do a one page quick setup to bring your knowledge bases right within your app. So that is the most that is the biggest advantage or benefit is there, I would say, because you don't really need any high level um, or very complicated setups for this. Your Confluence admins can also do it easily, and then you just have to simply embed that code within your app, which can happen with quick help of your developers. There is no copy pasting chaos, no need to copy paste your actual knowledge bases from Confluence to your app. The same knowledge base that is available in Confluence can be, you can bring that right within your app. And then it provides a seamless user experience because they are easily able to access your head documentation. Now let's do a quick demonstration. So I'm going to switch my screen quickly, and I'll go to one of our knowledge base within the Confluence, of course, and I'll quickly go to the space settings. So you need to be a Confluence admin in this case to access these settings. Then in the integrations, you can see this Embedder for Confluence, right? And once this loads, you will have an option to create a Confluence, create a widget. So when I click on create, you would notice that there are some fields here. So that's it. You just have to do the setup for these fields, and you are all set with the, you will get the code to embed right within your app, right? So here you will be adding, so instead of creating a new one, what I will do is I'll go back and I'll show you the existing um, widget settings that I have already added, right? So I'll quickly switch back mm, to another page and go back to the embedder for Confluence, right? If you remember, there is already one widget created here. So I'll click on edit here, and it will launch the existing settings of the widget. So now if you notice, when I had created on create, this right side part was not there. This is all the embedded code to embed your widgets into your main apps. Since once we click on save after creating and filling up all the details, this code will be available for you. So that's why I have this code available, because I'm just editing the existing widget here. Now you can add the name of the widget, you can add the description that is relevant for your users. You can allow or disable or enable search, right? So when you open the widget, people can do a search for whatever documentation they are trying to find, like maybe maybe a specific feature name, function name, etc., right? So you can give a placeholder search box here, and you can write the um, placeholder there, right? So here I'm saying that okay, search here, and I'm just adding it. Then you can add labels for the widgets, like maybe search, head documentation, knowledge base, right? So this will classify your widgets here. Then or maybe you can add, if you have multiple widgets and if you have multiple knowledge bases, maybe you can use your app names there to classify that. Then default widget page, So you in your Confluence spaces, you would have the main landing page like overview page or any specific feature page that will have the list or the the child macros that will show you. That will help you to showcase your app links. So maybe, or there is one landing page where you have added multiple children macros, where it brings some links to different documentation pages. So that kind of landing page can be your default widget page. So when they open the widget page, they will see that landing page there, right? What should be the search criteria, whether it should search into the entire space or maybe the restricted pages. If it's restricted pages, then again you can select that, right? Select those restricted pages. Here I would say I want people to search on the entire space. Now, whether you want the page to be directly loaded or you want to see the search results, that depends on you. They can search by page title or simply by typing the text. That is also can be controlled. And then uh, search pages by query matching. So you can also write your queries to define for what specific query or for what specific search terms people should get the results, right? So in that way, you can manage these settings in different ways based on how you want people to search their documentations or the page knowledge bases or the help documentation that they are looking for. So in this way, there are multiple types of settings here. So these are all quite self-explanatory. Um, display page title as links that open in new tabs. So whether you want people, so once they have searched for the pages, they will get the results, and whether they should click on, whether those page titles should be clickable and they should be hyperlinked to be opened in new tab or not. That also you can decide, right? If you want to show additional footers and give some additional links, that is also possible, right? So for example, you may want to give a link like support or contact us and then give your support portal link, and so they can easily click on that link and raise a support ticket if needed at all. Then you can also add some visibility rules for these mm, links that you are adding, right? And then there is a look and feel part. So there are three different types of widgets: floating panel, pop-up, and the inline widget. And for each type of widget, you can decide the look and feel of those widgets, right? So whether you want to show a question mark icon or info icon or any custom text when they see the widget on the in the corner of your app, whether it should be a launcher text like something like help. So for example, if I say custom help, custom text, you can write that text. If I switch to question mark, you would see that option is gone because it will simply showcase an info icon or question mark icon there, right? Then the widget launcher size, how exactly it should be, and then what are the color combinations of your entire widget, right? So for that, you can choose different color combination. And then this is specific for floating panel. So these look and feel settings are for both floating and pop-up widgets. This is specifically for floating panel. So widget should be shown in expanded way, or it should be in full height or not, and what should be the width of the widget, and so on, right? So in that way, you can define the look and feel, because when I say floating panel, as soon as they click on that question mark or info icon or the help custom text that you have added for to showcase your widget in the corner of the app, as soon as they click on that, it will float on the screen, and you have to define the size and how exactly it will look on the screen for them, right? And then these are specific to inline widget. Now again, you can show headers, footers, or in-frame borders, dimensions, height and width, etc. So you can set all these look and feel. Once you are done, you have to save it, and then you would see these different codes here. These are the embed codes. So what we will do is we will one by one check this here. So I'm going to copy this, right, for the floating panel, and I'm just going to open this quick codepane.io page where I'm going to update the code and save it. And you would see that the question mark is showing up here, right? So if we go back, and if you remember the setting here, right? So I had not saved it by selecting info icon. So I'll just save it, and yeah, I'll go back. Again save this, or maybe I have to refresh this. Right, so you can see the info icon is showing up now. Earlier it was question mark, then it was info icon. And if you add any custom text like help, search knowledge base here, and so on, that help text will be visible here. Now, when I click on here, since this is a pop-up widget, you would be able to see, sorry, that's so let me show you one more time, because I forgot which exact code I had copied. I'm sorry for that. Yeah, so this is a floating widget here. Here you can see this page was selected as a landing page of my widget. That's why it's showing up here. And then I can search for the different terms here, right? So for example, if I search and enter for OKRs, it will show me all the documentation pages that are matching to the word that I have added, right? And when I click on this, it will load the page. If I click on this link or on this icon here, it will open that page in a new window. And this helps people to immediately open that documentation that they are looking for, right? Also, you can see in the footer, I had added a contact us link. If I click on this, it will open a link that I have added, right? So maybe I just added some broken link by mistake. So that's why it's showing, but otherwise it could be some support link there, right? Then let's copy another type of float widget here. Now, inline widget is copied, right? I'm going to paste the code and save it. Now you can see it is an inline widget here, which will open within the app, right? And then other things are same as we saw before, because the look and feel settings are not changed. Now, when I go to the pop-up widget and try copying this code, I'm sorry for that. I'm not sure if now I go here and save it. And then here you will see this kind of widget here. All right. Of course, the dimensions are different. Like I said, you can select all the dimensions, height and width of the widget. You can place it right at the center of the screen, or maybe with a bigger height and width. And you can choose your color combinations and so on, and show your widget in this way. So these are the different modes or different types of widgets that you can use, and showcase your documentation knowledge bases right within your app. Now, moving back to the slide, I hope this was helpful. So let's look at some real world use cases. You can use the Embedder app for Confluence for some onboarding flows within the app. So, like you must have seen that you can select any specific page as a landing page of your um, widget, right? So maybe you can just add an onboarding flow for users where they will be able to see a landing page with getting started information. Or you can also incorporate these widgets as FAQs inside your product, right? So if you don't want to show the entire documentation, maybe you have an extensive FAQ created for your users, you can embed that within your product. Or of course, the feature guides, whatever documentation knowledge bases that you have within Confluence, that entire space can go as a feature guide within your application as a widget. Now, if you have any questions, please feel free to let me know. I'm happy to answer those questions. And you can um, add those questions in the chat box or maybe ask by unmuting yourself. Okay, so it seems we do not have any questions. I take it as a no. And here we wrap today's session. So if you find the app interesting, Embedded for Confluence, you can scan this code and visit the app, install it on your Confluence instance and explore it further. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us via our support, or you can ask your doubts or queries to us. Thank you for your time, and thank you for joining today's webinar.